Buenos dias, bon dia, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us here in our daily webinars of the Hispanic Response and Recovery Plan, a platform, a framework to mitigate the impact that COVID has in our community that is disproportionately affected by COVID at every level, at the health level, economic level, and we're disproportionately exposed to COVID. So this is a time in which we can reskill, learn, get insights, get inspiration, get education, so that we are better off getting together, getting coordinated, so that we can get back in our feet together. We know that we're disproportionately affected by COVID, but we also know that we're disproportionately equipped because we're resourceful, because we're imaginative, because we always come back and with our hard work. So this is an opportunity for all of us to come out of this one stronger. Every day we bring you people that we admire, that we respect, and we think that could be incredible value for the Hispanic leaders here to learn about best practices, to share information, and to take better decisions. Today I have an incredible pleasure to introduce someone that I've learned so much about, a program that I really, really admire, Ivonne Díaz-Claisse. Ivonne is the director, she leads HISPA, and she is going to be telling us all about HISPA and what is the plan. Yvonne is going to be joined by Lauren Volpe, who's the founder and president and CEO of Hispanic Inspiring Students Performance and Achievement, HISPA. So both of them, we're going to be talking about Latino Stories, validating students' dreams for the future of America. All of us know how important it is to have role models, particularly for our community. If I look just on tech, what are the main reasons why Latinos are not in tech? One of them is lack of access to education or training. But the number two is because no one encouraged them. They didn't have a role model. They couldn't see themselves at the work level saying like, yes, I can be that software engineer. Yes, I can be that Bill Gates. Yes. So it's incredibly important to have that role model. Yvonne and Lauren, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And thank you everyone that's joining us today, this morning. You know, I'm so proud to share the HISPA story, but I also want to celebrate the over 3,000 individuals that have shared the stories in the schools, in their corporations when we visit them, or when we go into a university campus together during the youth conferences. I want to also honor all the teachers that, especially the Latina teachers and Latino teachers that are there every day and serve much more than just teaching the students. They become advocates for the students. Sometimes they provide the basic needs like food and comfort. And they do so many different jobs, right? Sometimes translating for the communities and so forth. We want to elevate the voices of the Latino youth today. And of course, I want to provide an opportunity for all of us to join together with Hispanic Star in the month of action by inviting each one of you to become a virtual role model. So to tell you real quick about the HISPA story, I would say it's like the butterfly effect. Many of you know my degrees in mathematics, and the butterfly effect is what I call how HISPA started. It was a moment after finishing my degrees in academia, working in corporate America, stepping into an auditorium in Newark, New Jersey, and telling my story. At that point, I remember at the end, I had a line of students that wanted my autograph. And I didn't feel that I did anything special. All I did was to tell my story with the ups and downs. And also at the end, one girl said, now that I met you, I will pursue a PhD as well. And that changed my life forever. At that moment, I committed to this vocation, which is to mobilize all Latino professionals to show and validate students' dreams with their stories. And I'm proud to celebrate. We have done now over 1,500 school visits, times where Latino professionals left their job and left their busy lives and stepped into a classroom to do that special gesture. Today, I'm just so proud that we can celebrate the teachers and that Ms. Volpe accepted our invitation. And I have a note here from actually her principal that I want to read real quickly as I introduce her. And her principal, Evelyn Rodriguez Salcedo, thank you for joining us. She wrote to me yesterday, Ms. Volpe is a great educator and role model to all our students. She always puts all the students in the school first and makes it a priority to look for ways to help them improve academically and socially. So I want to invite Ms. Volpe to introduce herself.
And maybe, I don't know whether Ms. Volpe is already there.
Yes.
Yes, she is. Okay, fantastic. Hi, Ms. Volpe. We're keen to hear, and please introduce yourself. She here? So Ivonne,
okay, I'll continue, but she's.
I wanted to ask you very specifically about HISPA, because you have a lot of fans. I see already, like, proud of Ivonne. She's the best. She's great. I just want to make sure that for the record, you tell us, what is HISPA? When did you start it? What does it do? And what do you want it to do?
Okay. So yes, so about 15 years ago, we had our very first kickoff event in where our goal was very simple: mobilize 100 role models in 100 hours and make sure that they will be able to step into classroom and share the stories. So we partner with 4 schools, 100 volunteers, and that's how HISPA starts. Our program is a program that's replicable. So we have a program in San Antonio, Texas, in South Florida, in Norristown, Pennsylvania, in New York City, because partners, funders come to us and say, we want this replicated here. So we're very proud that we develop a model that's replicable. Our mission is very specific, is to inspire Latino students to discover their potential and to ignite a desire to embrace education and achieve success. So we accomplish that by providing, visiting the schools. We're doing 3 things. We are validating students' dreams, building their self-efficacy, making sure that they believe in their own capabilities, providing information. Every person has a different story of how they achieve higher education. For example, talking about the SAT and how do you prepare, or a merit award, or a scholarship, or a fellowship. That language, we bring that language into the schools. And third, the careers of the future. As you mentioned, we have, the highly skilled careers that we need to make sure our students are fulfilling and following those paths, because, the future depends on it. By 2036, 1 in 3 students in our public schools will be of Latino heritage. They are the ones that are going to be discovering those vaccines for the future diseases. They are the ones who are going to be the professors to teach others. They are the ones that are going to be teachers and doctors and so forth. So if we don't, eradicate this one problem, which is the lack of role models, we will not be able to have success as a society in the future. So it's no longer a problem or a challenge in the Latino community. It's a challenge for the future of this country, and that's why the title that we chose today.
But Dr. Ivonne, just like to stay there, let me get this clear. We have a problem that you identified really clearly, which is we do not have role models. Our community does not have role models. As a fact, I have data that says that 2/3 of Latinos cannot identify a single role model, a single prominent Latino that they aspire to be outside of their family. Mamá siempre, la abuela y la mamá, las role models del siglo. But outside of that, they don't have role models. So that's a problem. What I understand you're saying is you found a solution by creating a program where you bring volunteers. You actually ask people that are working in corporate America to come and be volunteers as role models and go to different schools and says, this is my story. And that is good enough to be a role model and an inspiration for a kid. Is that correct?
That's correct. But we have developed a model in which we don't only are recruiting, but we are empowering that individual. Part of what I didn't share yet with you is that when I was in corporate America, I was leading an employee resource group. I was the national president of an employee resource group. And all that experience of understanding how employee resource groups work and carry kind of the best practices, it was our vision that we will become the most efficient kind of the right hand of an employee resource group, the right hand of a professional organization, to make it the most efficient way for them to give back to the community, impacting education in particular. So if you think about it, it is about, you know, being the best at one thing. I think that the Hispanic Star platform can provide us an opportunity to be efficient. What I mean by that is we can know what everybody's doing in the educational pipeline of our Latino youth. And we can see where are replicating efforts and where can we be the most efficient. You know, I think that's where the mathematician in me is like, let's optimize those resources and make sure all the students get all the help they need through the pathway. HISPA is not about scholarship, because we recognize there are amazing organizations working in scholarships. HISPA is not about learning to read or pre-K education. HISPA is very focused on the middle school transition to high school years, because it is proven by the research that those are the special times in their lives where they're still kind of dreaming. And we want to make sure that we validate that dream so they go to high school with the goals to succeed.
Gotcha. So because you mentioned and we've been talking a lot, and you're part of the Hispanic Star universe and the Alliance, and we love you. And we know that it is very important to be clear and intentional about what we need. You have said that you want to get to 20,000 stories, 20,000 stories following your Vision 2020. We love visions, we love numbers. We want to make sure that, you know, we were talking about this, but we are kicking off tomorrow the month of action. We're putting the Hispanic Star to act, because right now is the time when we need it, when we need it most. All of those students that are at home that might actually have, you know, very little access to air, to a lot of tension, a lot of things. If there's any time in which we need inspiration, motivation, role models, and to do something, is today. So because we're kicking off the Hispanic Star month of action tomorrow, I just want to make sure that we can incentivize all of these corporations that are part of the Hispanic Promise Signatory, all corporate America, and individuals that care, that want to do something for you. So it is the month of action kicking off tomorrow. Ideally by next week or something, we can announce already something that we can do together. But tell me exactly how the Hispanic Star universe and all the Alliance and the networks and the members can be part of that 20,000 goal that you have.
Well, thank you. So yeah, so with the pandemic, you know, right away, like you say, our creativity, our adaptability came to place, and we envision a way to provide the stories to the students still very efficiently. At the same time, we've been working on this big dream of developing a platform where students can select the stories that match their dreams. That the students can find stories where, if you are struggling at home with domestic violence or addiction, that you are able to find stories of people that went through those challenges and overcame them. It's really a collection of pathways to higher education, and really pathways also living poverty and moving forward in your life to a career and success. So this platform that we develop is all based on recording between 10 and 15 minutes of our life stories. We have webinars already packaged. We just this 1 week, I want to share with you. Yesterday, we presented a webinar to Office Depot, Somos. Prudential Juntos just committed to join us for the month of action. We just heard from Audible, Bristol Myers Squibb, and Wells Fargo, and Verizon, AT&T. We've been nonstop working with the corporations that have been involved with HISPA in the last, 10 so years. But now, because there is no longer that barrier of us having to, get in the car and go there, we're able to achieve this goal by presenting this opportunity to all of us, all the Hispanic Star community, to join forces. It's very easy. One, you tell us, yes, we want to be part of this. Two, we set up a webinar for your community, or we send you a pre-recorded webinar. And then, you have a specific kind of template that we provide, developed based on the best practices of having shared 1,500 stories, right? That we know what are the questions already that the kids are going to ask and that they are curious about. So using that information, we're able to build a kind of an outline for how you share your story. And then we will put it in the website and the students will have access to it.
And I love it. And I know that Professor Volpe is here. And what I do want to do is, Dr. Ivonne, in this month of action, we're going to set up a goal. And we, the Hispanic Star, I think that we can get to, incentivize enough ERGs, employee resource groups, incentivize enough ambassadors, incentivize the Hispanic Star Alliance, so that we can get to 5,000 stories in a month. We will commit to you to promoting so that you can get 5,000 stories. We will connect you to other Hispanic Star Alliance members that want stories as well. Danny Vargas, there's a number of people that want the same stories. So instead of actually asking one person, give us 3 different videos, we will condense and we will try to get 5,000 stories. I want to see in the chat that is very, that is very active in applauding you, to say, yes, we will actually give you access. We will give you a video. We will partner with HISPA in this month of action so that we can actually get as many Hispanic stars shining for our youth, for our children that need role models. And this is where I think it's fantastic to hear the perspective of Lauren Volpe, that has actually been seeing more than 600 students in your schools that have been exposed to this program. Lauren Volpe, please.
Hi, good morning. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties, but first and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me to attend this webinar and this platform with you wonderful ladies. I can't speak any more highly about HISPA. It actually came to me by mistake about 8 years ago. Another colleague of mine was running it, and it was just kind of given to me, and I blindly walked into the HISPA program, not really knowing much about it, about 8 years ago. And I'm kind of so happy that I walked in that door when I did and I received it, because I couldn't be more grateful to the program. It is now a major staple in our school community, and I refuse to give up the program. I will fight to have that program wherever possible. To this day, over 600 students have seen a role model and have attended my classroom and have been exposed to many different opportunities through the HISPA program. We have attended Princeton University. We have visited different major companies. So I am extremely grateful to all the work that Dr. Diaz does with the HISPA program, and how she allows me to be so much a major crucial component of the program as well.
Yeah, I love that. And tell me more about, like, what about COVID? How has COVID affected, what's the new reality that you're seeing, and how much relevance does this bring?
I think unfortunately, what the world may not take into account sometimes is that we are all affected in different ways. And I had to even step outside the box a little bit, and in response to COVID too, and think about my students. How is this affecting my students personally? And technology is a wonderful thing, and it's extremely available. However, when you look at COVID and you stop for a moment and you really just look at people, because they're people and they're struggling. My students are in an urban area. It's very a poor area. So there's lack of food, lack of basic needs. Many of my students' parents or family members are working as frontline workers. So they're not home. Or, they're working at the supermarket, or La Bodega down the street, or, at the hospital, or wherever it may be. So they spend a lot of time at home alone. And I think that HISPA launching videos accessible to my students is an extremely amazing component, because it is now being available to my students to just have a lending ear, or an inspirational story, or just a daily reminder of knowing that you're not alone. and that many Hispanics are going through the same thing in different areas and different communities and neighborhoods, but we are all in it together. And we are all worried together. And, you know, I think that her launching this online is an extremely successful platform.
And I think that's amazing. Just talk to me, I mean, like you started, but I would like to hear the last question for both of you. You have a unique perspective on the lives of Latino students. So what educational challenges do you see facing Latino students today? Have you adapted? I mean, like you have adapted your work to address these issues, but tell us more about like the specificity of our reality and the challenges we face as Latino students.
I think that Elizabeth, I'm very humbled to say and very grateful to say that I'm actually coming full circle in my life. I was actually a product of Elizabeth Public Schools as a young adult and a young student. My family lives there currently still, so I am very ingrained in that community. So it is very, it's very, I'm very grateful to be able to teach in that community. However, I don't think that there are educational challenges. And I mean that in the most positive way. Elizabeth Public Schools does a phenomenal job at preparing our students for education and preparing them with technology and the resources all available. However, my students and many students in the Elizabeth community struggle with personal challenges or household challenges. And if you don't have the basic needs of knowing where your next meal may come from, or how are you getting to school, or if your parents are working 12 hours a day because they're truck drivers, you know, bringing our groceries, you know, delivering them. So the challenges, they impede my students on an educational level because the basics are not provided. So I don't think that you know, there's always a challenge somewhere, but I think that we need to focus more on just being compassionate and having empathy for our students that are currently struggling. And my area is a little bit more diverse than others. So understanding first and foremost needs to be at the front line.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Ivonne?
Yes, I will add to that, you know, once again, the resources in Elizabeth School District are amazing. Yet you have a huge group of students. Actually, in Ms. Volpe, I believe it's about 25% of the students are like new entrant in the new entrant program. In this country, we have over 5 million students that are English learners. And for them to hear our stories as, you know, still with our strong accents and being successful, we are validating again that sí se puede. You know, that message of esperanza y amor that we bring to them. The fact that we have all these amazing, you know, VIPs that are, you know, accomplished so much, take time to visit them. What an act of validation that is. That is something that only us, you know, the Hispanic stars and the HISPA role models can bring to the students. You know, it is so important. For us, it's kind of like, you know, we have a list of schools across the country that has written to us that want our programs, but, you know, it's balancing and optimizing. How can we, you know, secure the funding to go to more schools? Now with this platform, we are going to be able to help those schools that have reached out to us in the past from all over the country. But a platform and a virtual world will never replace that moment where you step into a classroom. So it is our goal that also with this initiative, we can start increasing awareness to raise funds. So when COVID-19 leaves, we can then bring the program. It is my commitment, depending on the funding that we, you know, you have a guarantee that we are about optimizing resources. So the funding that we secure, we will use it to bring our program to more communities. So our students can visit us in our corporations, can go together with us to the university campuses, and that we can visit them face to face.
You got it. And I before giving you a last opportunity, like last words, if you want, I just want to emphasize the other side, how important it is for giving feels good. when and stepping up to sharing your story and actually realizing you're a Hispanic star. Many of us don't feel like Hispanic stars. Many of the people that are here are, you know, like are making it in corporate America, are making it working, are having double shifts, have, you know, like have kids, have mothers, have friends. We are Hispanic stars, and we have to drink the Kool-Aid that we already are role models. And so having programs like these is not only great for kids, like in the classroom of Professor Volpe, it is great for us to allow us to actually empower ourselves and say like, I'm a Hispanic star, I'm a role model, my story is going to inspire other people. And that's so important as a model. So I want to make sure that all of us feel like, yes, my story is worth, and I'm gonna give it to you so that we can not only get to 5,000 stories for those kids that actually are our future, but it's also helping us to make sure that we understand that America is made of stars and Hispanics are one of them, and we're shining like there's no tomorrow. So last word, please.
Yeah, so I talk about the secondary effects of HISPA, and the secondary effects of HISPA is how this program has helped people like build their own self-confidence as public speakers. I have many calls where professionals call me and thank me because they just got a promotion and they're saying they got much more confident in their own professional organizations because of the HISPA program. We have a teacher actually that used to work with Ms. Volpe that now works for UPS, because through our relationship, he found that his passion was for technology. So through our network, so there is a lot of secondary effects that I call about HISPA. And my last word is thank you to each one of the individuals that have taken part of this. Some are, financially, with the talent, treasure, and time. So thank you to each one of you. And I would like Ms. Volpe, I know that you wanted to say a few words as well.
Yes, I just wanted to close it out with saying that the 3 takeaways that I personally take away from HISPA are empowerment. I think that we lack in just knowing that we are empowered as Hispanics. We need to empower each other. Actually, speaking on this panel, Claudia, you actually mentioned the other day in one of your videos, making the invisible visible. And it didn't occur to me on how we are bringing a visibility to to my students. And I need everyone, please, I beg you, if you do nothing else, pass along the word, encourage HISPA, sponsor HISPA, however possible you can. Monetary or word of mouth or however possible, because it actually does do something. We are strength in numbers. We are Hispanic. We need to take care of one another, and we need to redeem the stories of our family members that unfortunately were not able to receive an education in this country because they went to work 2 or 3 jobs to put food on our table and to take care of us. And we need to be those rising stars, Hispanic stars for our family members, because we all are. And it's a call of action. I am pleading to whoever can to continue to sponsor the HISPA program. I need it, my students need it, my community needs it. And if we can give it to as many other students, all the better.
Absolutely. So we will, and I just need a commitment for both of you, Dr. Ivonne and Professor Volpe. You will go to the volunteer wall that we have in the Hispanic Star site and just say exactly what you said now. Just put it there, because we're going to bring a ton of eyeballs tomorrow and for a month that will want to see what can I do at the individual level. Someone asked, do I have to be in a corporation to volunteer and to be a role model? No, so I want you to both commit to just go into the Hispanic Star and say, I need volunteers in these areas. I need support in these areas, because this is the time in which we have to act as a community that supports each other, that helps each other, and that shines together. So with that, I want to say thank you so very, very much for this incredible opportunity to hear of the work that you're doing. HISPA is a Hispanic Star program. Dr. Ivonne and Lauren Volpe are Hispanic Stars, inspiring us all. So let's support each other, and let's make sure that we hit that 5,000 stories in this month. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms.
Bye.
Volpe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.